Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I almost forgot to enter myself into the stream. Uh, Hope everybody's doing well today. I just getting everything set up. I'm gonna change something here. Just getting everything set up. I gotta go here. All right, everybody, how you doing today? Hey, Kyle King, how you doing, sir? Ed, we're back. Hey, how you doing? Well, guys know I do a panel, so anybody that wants to come up, come on up. Uh, just trying to get everything going. Tell you how silly I was. Hey, Jerry, come on up, man. Earlier today, I walked down to get my mail, and I forgot to take my keys with me. It's the lucky thing I carry a spare key to my apartment in my wallet. So I wasn't able to check my mail, and I didn't feel like walking back down to get it. So, Mac Daddy, give me a second. I'll have you up. Mac Daddy is in the house. And so come on up, Mac Daddy.
There I am. Thank you.
No, sir. Let me check something here.
Hey, I found something more fun to sell
Oh,
today
I'm
than
sorry.
moonshine.
Can't hear you because I don't have my earplugs in. Told you,
Oh,
buddy, I'm out of sorts today.
God bless you.
Oops. I have to getting used to my new shift. I have too much time off now on Saturday and Sunday, and
Wow, less hours, more money, better time. Gotta
no,
love that.
same hours.
Oh,
I'm still working 40, but I was working 2 8s and 2 12s. Now I'm working 5 8s. So Saturday and Sunday, instead of being 12 hours, are now 8 hours,
oh,
and I make more money per hour, and I do less work.
well, that all works. I
Uh,
found something more fun to sell than moonshine today.
what's that?
Property.
There you go. You made good property, huh? Made some good profit today. I know
I
you said. I saw the post. You said something about what was it, 750,000 pesos?
well, I didn't get that,
Okay.
but I got. I only paid 4,500 for it when I bought it,
Yeah,
and I sold it for 12,000.
that's not bad.
And I only had it 2 years. I'd say that's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
Take that anytime.
I would too.
It's not a done deal yet, though. I got to go to the lawyer, and we're going to arrange settlement for like August 20th, somewhere in
Okay.
there. So keep your fingers crossed. I'll keep you posted.
Well, we'll keep them crossed. I mean that will raise a big chunk of cash for your trip.
Yes, well, that is my trip.
That's what I said. That'll raise a big chunk of cash.
Another thing there is it's a pretty tight deal because the guy that wants it, his property adjoins mine directly next door.
There you go.
He has 3 acres, but he doesn't have the sewer system, the electric system, and I have all that with my property, and he wants to build a house.
Well, I can understand that then.
It's a natural. It's a knockdown, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, like you said, if he doesn't have it and he wants to build a house, it costs quite a bit to put that on there. Plus, he gets a much bigger property now because he'll have his 3 acres and what he's buying from you both.
Well, with it my property adjoining his property, it wouldn't have cost him so much to bring it to his property, but he'd still have to bring it.
Yeah.
He likes the location of my property in comparison to his property because I got a nice paved street in front of mine too.
Okay.
So there's a few little
Perks.
things that
Yeah.
make it desirable for him.
Like I said, a few little perks there that make it better. Yeah, I
Yes.
can understand that. But
And I met him and his fiance there. They were very nice people.
well, how old is he?
He's
You're
probably he's
younger.
he's younger than me. Probably he's probably in his 40s. She's in her late 30s.
Okay.
She's
Well, that's
she's
cool.
she lost her husband a few years ago.
Yeah.
She has two young kids. It's a nice neighborhood. They want to put a house there. And I could have squeezed them and pushed my deal, but who knows how that would go.
Yeah. He might have backed out completely and said it's better just to put it on my property and not worry about it.
Sometimes it's just well, I took the deal they offered me. I didn't try and bump them. I asked them for a $500 bump. They kind of frowned on it. I said, okay, let's just do your numbers then, but let's do it fast. I'm not going to hold the note. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So they offered me real quick. Listen, real fast. They offered me 1,000 cash and 11 in a lunch bag.
Yeah.
Out the door, cha-ching.
There you go. Like you said, get the lawyer to sign off on it.
Absolutely. That's we'll go in and sit down and purchase it like I did. Same lawyer I'm going to use,
Yeah.
and it'll all be kosher.
That's good.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, I like I said, it's still getting used to. The nice thing about it, my new place, is the hours are still the same. As far as start time, it's 7 o'clock every morning. The difference is I gotta leave. Now the drive isn't this much longer, but I gotta leave at least 10 minutes earlier, preferably 15 or more, because when I got to work at my other site, about 3 minutes from my car to my work post. That's it. And I could probably do it if I wanted to hurry in a minute or two. I mean, we're talking 100, 200 steps. That's it. Not very much at all.
Sometimes
Now,
a little bit of change is good too.
yeah, well, my new workstation from when I park my car to where I work at is over 1,200 steps. So I got to have more time to get there. I mean, because even if I ran it, I wouldn't be able to do it in a couple of minutes. And I'm not running that far. Let's be honest about it. As far as out of shape as I'm out of, it's not going to happen. And oh, by the way, Tim just said, "Back, Daddy, congratulations on your property sale."
Thank you. It's not done yet. Cross your fingers, everybody. Here we go.
But
It's the strongest person I could possibly sell it to is somebody whose property adjoins mine.
yeah, and somebody that like you said, they really want it and why they want it. And
Yeah, it was funny. I went up there. I'm driving a Volvo station wagon, so I can always open the hatch and sit down myself. I had my son put a drywall bench in the back of the Volvo. So when I got there, I could open up the drywall bench and tell the folks, hey, let's sit down and talk. And I was thoughtful enough to even bring them a seat. And then I showed them my paperwork and my deed, and
look, Larice Jersey's in the house. Hello, Larice. How you doing? And, Dan's here. Dan, come on up.
Big Dan in the man. We're going to have to get together and see him in Cebu.
No, yeah, really.
I had some questions on the best way to send some money to the Philippines too. I've been using Western Union when I do it, but that's kind of expensive. I guess the best.
How you doing, sir? Welcome.
I guess the best thing might be is get Marifel a bank account and just put it in her bank.
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole juggle.
Now, Tobias lives in around Chicago. I don't know if you know who Tobias is.
Yes.
All right. Tobias says use Remitly.
Use what?
Tobias says use Remitly.
Remitly?
Yeah, that's a money transfer.
Oh, I got you. I need to do some other things though before I go.
Yeah.
I need to take this. I need to take 10,000 and double it.
Well, you don't want to take that more than that. You don't want to take more than 10 grand because if they catch it, they'll confiscate it. What you want to
Oh,
do, what you want to do is have it available that you can get to it once you get there.
yeah, I'll have it on credit card,
Yeah.
bank card. But what I want to do before I go to the Philippines, I want to go to the auto auction and buy some cars, bring them home and sell them.
Yeah.
I'll go. I can make 1,000 a car usually out of the auction, and I want to do, 6, 8, 10 cars before I go.
Jerry says I use a company called Sendwave. I use Gcash though. I'm going to tell you the truth, Jerry. We don't have Gcash. You got to be in the Philippines to get it. I agree with you. Once Ed gets there, Baghdadi gets there, it'd be easy to get Gcash, and you can send it right to her directly to her Gcash account. So I think you can send it right to her and not have to send it to a third party. Dan can tell you more about that. He uses Gcash if he ever comes up. But
I just want to, when I do settle, and it won't be for a month or so I got lots of time.
oh yeah,
But I want to send her a couple dollars to make her life a little easier,
I understand that.
especially if I'm on the way.
Dan says you can take as much money as you want to the Philippines, no limit, but must declare over 10 grand. And
No, yeah,
I wouldn't take over 10 grand. I'd take 10 grand or less.
I would take
like
4
you
grand.
said,
It's all I need.
like I said, and then
I don't need I don't need a
I would
suitcase full of diamonds. I just need 4 grand.
but I want the money available before I move over there. I want to get I'm not sure which one. All right, Laurice, if you're just going to be in the background, that's cool. You're welcome to come up if you ever want to. But I want to get one of those either federal credit unions or one of those accounts that when you take money out, they reimburse you the ATM charges. Hey, Dan, welcome, sir.
Good morning. How's it going?
Jerry
My
says he
brother.
takes 3,000. Now, Jerry, when I went to China, I think I took 10 grand.
Yeah, I won't go with that
much, but I kept it hidden and kept it on me at all times. It was never where somebody else could see it. I'd only have 100 or 2 out, and I usually money changed in a safe place. But I'd always have that separate. I'd separate the money out while I was in my hotel room that I was going to exchange at that time and do it. But then, like I said, I would go somewhere safe.
Dan, I
the
found
hotels I stayed at would exchange your money for you.
Dan, I found something more fun to sell than moonshine.
What is that?
Property.
Oh, property's still fun.
Tim said he took 5,000
rate this morning. 54.73.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's still okay. Anything
Oh, it's
above
coming
50.
down some. Well, I paid 4,500 2 years ago, 150 for taxes since then, and I just rolled off of it. If the deal goes through for 12 grand.
Yeah, it's pretty good money.
Yes,
Find
especially
another
for 2 years.
property, do it again. Find another one that abuts up to your the guy buying it. Yeah,
I can't. I'm landlocked now, but
go the other side.
I'm going to go to the car auction, I think. Used cars are falling like a stone. The prices are coming down.
Buy low, sell high, they say,
Just
or
make
buy
it
low and remain high.
yeah, well, just make 1,000 a car, you know.
I'll remain high with the gummies. I'm not smoking. Uh,
Yeah, the whole money transfer thing, it's a mystery, you know. I've
Yeah.
tried every one of the ones that you guys mentioned, Sendwave, Remitly, and they all ended up shutting me down after a while.
Oh,
Yeah, they said
how
that
do
it's
you
just,
do? Does Gcash go directly from your account to
I
their
think,
account?
Gcash is expanding, so I don't know the latest on Gcash, but it's supposed to be a digital wallet. Eventually, you'll be able to use it all over the world, from what I understand.
Well, if they do
well,
that,
that's what's going to be everything eventually. You know, money's leaving us. It's going to all be digital.
I got PayPal and Venmo.
PayPal is so I didn't know this, but until recently, but I can now send myself money to the Philippines using PayPal. So all I do is I could send it to me directly using one of the money offices here in the Philippines. They're affiliated partners, which are all kinds of uh, what is it? LBC is one, the Marcos Company. Remitly offices are here. They have everything here. So now
Yeah.
you could use PayPal and send your money straight to the one of those offices in your name right here, and then all you have to do is present your passport to pick up the money.
Now Jerry said he got shut down by Remitly and World Remit.
Yeah, so did I. Both of those, Jerry. And they said it was because my name was too similar to a Colombian drug lord's name. So I went and I looked, and it was, except that there were some differences that were obvious. One was age. I looked them up online. One was age. One was he had my first name was his middle name, and then the same last name. So I sent him all the information. I said, look, what rocket scientists do you guys have working there anyway? I said, there's no match. This dude is 20 years younger than I am. That's number one to start off with, and then so I presented my information, and then they came back and they said, we're going to allow this transfer to go through. And I went, duh, you are. Of course, it's obvious that I'm not this guy. And I've proven to you under the federal rules. But then finally, they came back to me a few days later and they said, we just don't want to deal with this. It's very simple. We're a private entity. We could do business with whoever we want. And when it gets too complicated where we have to do government paperwork, we're not into it. So we're just going to close your account. I said, sounds good to me. And it sounds like a reasonable, it sounds reasonable. I can't argue with it. See you guys. See you guys later.
Well, you don't want to play with the American government and money. They're nuts.
They're absolutely crazy. For example, each time my son sends money over to the Philippines, it creates one of those events, one of those events that ends up on a computer blue sheet somewhere, and some analyst has to look at it.
Dan, Tobias wants you to talk about the PayPal again.
Yeah. So if you go into PayPal, there are options now that mysteriously there's an option now that says send money to yourself, and you can go in there and wire money to the Philippines and then pick it up at one of the remittance offices. So it's in there. If you go look in your PayPal, I don't know. I don't have PayPal up right now, but maybe I can get it up. No, I haven't been able to get it up in years.
They got a little blue pill for that.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Let's see. Sign into PayPal. Anyway, it's in there, and listen, it's not the most. PayPal may think that they're the most user-friendly app out there, but they're really not. It can be a little bit complicated and challenging to figure out.
They rip me off. I won't use them.
Yeah, PayPal is a peculiar operation. They have, once you give them what Mac Daddy says, once you give them your money, they have your money. That's pretty much it. And getting it back is impossible if they make an error or a
I bought
mistake.
a table saw through them online.
Yeah.
They guarantee everything except the fact that I didn't get my product that I paid for. And when I complained to them about it, I didn't have a cell phone at the time. They were like,
Right.
"Well, we're sorry, we can't help you." And
Yeah,
six
yeah.
months-
So
and they never helped me.
they
Cost me
have a
40,
product, they have
43
a product insurance that you can buy now, but I've never used it. I never want to for, I just don't. It works fine for what I use it for, and I don't use it for purchasing. I'm kind of afraid. I think what I'll do, Tobias and others, if you're interested, what I'll do is I'll do a test. I'll test it out and I'll let you guys know. I'll test it out and I'll make a video out of it. So what I'll do is I'll test it out. I'll send myself $100 or something through PayPal, and we'll see if everything works smoothly. And that's the only way to do it, is to test.
Well,
And so
Western Union,
that's what I'll do for you.
Western Union messed me up a month ago.
I hate them. I hate them with a passion.
Well, my girlfriend's name is Marifel, I-F-E-L, Marifel. They kept sending it to Maricel with a C.
Right, right.
Regardless of how I spelled it, whoever was on typing it on the other end typed it in wrong 3 times in a row.
I've had that happen before. Very believable. Yeah, because I've had it happen before to me.
I've typed
But
in
wait a
on my
minute.
own, and it tried to autocorrect a lot.
They'll give you your money back. That's
They
great.
do.
But
Eventually.
it takes a week to get your money back. And I was
At least
lucky
you're getting
enough
it
at the time to be able to resend it. But it took me, I was trying to send $150. It took me $600 to send it.
Yeah, Jerry put them up there. Jerry put the remittance signs up there. The remittance
Yeah, but
offices. Cebuano.
Mac Daddy can't read that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cebuano, Palawan Pawn Shop, LBC's one, M. Hewler's one. I can never say that name. It's the way it's spelled, I guess. M. Lawyer's the way Minnie says you pronounce it. M. Lawyer. So I tried Sendwave, I tried Remitly, I tried World Remitly, I tried Western Union. I tried all these magical ways of doing it, and then realized that the only guaranteed way to do it is just have my kids send the money once a month to Minnie's bank account, and the world is fine. It's never screwed up except the when you have problems with the internet cable being damaged. That's the only problem. They use the transatlantic cable to transfer, and so that's what happened.
Within a few months, Dan, we might be able to sit down in Cebu and eat pizza.
Yeah, that's true. That'll be fun.
I'm on my way.
That's fantastic. That's great.
We'll have to do Mac Daddy from the Philippines on Larry
Crazy
Street.
Kid, how you doing, man? If you want, come on up.
Yeah, really, it's not a mystery that it happened because you actually set the whole thing up to have happen. You first, when you started talking about it to us, that if you could sell that property, and then when you mentioned that you had a neighbor that come up against it.
The guy told me it was worthless.
Yeah, that's the guy.
And then this guy's the guy from the other side.
He was already setting you up. He was already setting you up.
His number was good enough. I didn't have to rebump him. I just took it. I could have maybe bumped him for another couple, but you know what? I didn't want to be greedy.
That's a pretty good profit.
That's what I thought. Bird and hands were still in the bush.
He's probably very happy. Now he can build his house. Yeah.
I made him look good in front of his girlfriend. They stood strong. But I was slick, Dan. I have a Volvo station wagon, so I can put the back hatch up and sit there.
Yeah, that Volvo is amazing.
I have a drywall bench too, so I took them a drywall bench to sit on, so we could sit there at the back of my car and talk. I set it up real nice. All were comfortable. We could all talk, and we made it happen.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it is.
Well, he would have been a fool not to buy it anyway. I mean, geez, it had all the utilities in ready to go. He'd be a fool not to
Well,
buy
the
it.
utilities aren't on his property, but they're on my property. That's really
Yeah.
what made the deal. And you know,
I mean, the sewer hookup alone saved him thousands of dollars.
well,
Maybe
yeah, because it's
maybe even
public sewer.
dollars.
You know,
Maybe
well,
that was the value right there.
the nice thing about public sewer is you don't have to maintain it. It ain't like a septic system. Flush and go. You're done.
Yeah. Well, you know, since you brought it up, it works the same way here, flush and go, except that where it goes, nobody knows. Oh my goodness gracious!
All right, Dan.
Well, you got that Filipino thing that you can get.
I kill myself sometimes. Where does he
You got-
get it?
You got that Filipino thing you can get. That you can only seem to get in the Philippines when you step in a
Well,
foreign puddle. You get stank foot. Oh God!
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll tell you what's showing up. What's showing up are those poly tanks now. They're showing up all over the place in the hardware stores. And so I wouldn't be surprised. Usually when that happens, it means that they're getting ready to pass some kind of ordinance that says that, you know, you have to start doing it the way we do in the States. You have to vault the septic system, drop dually tanks, because these tanks they're not the same size as they are in the States. They're smaller. So you actually have to you actually have to put tandem tanks down in there. But hey, they're not really that expensive. And then of course the guys that are going to get rich are going to be the sewer services that are going to be going house to house in these new homes and sucking out the crap.
Jerry says when he arrives in Pinas, Pinas, I don't want to see a single expat like Chris and Sabu. I am not into interaction. I see Americans here. The only problem with that, Jerry, I see if there's no Americans or Canadians or something like that
Crazy
around,
kid.
the problem
Howdy.
is what kind of health care do you have? I'm worried about health care, partly because of my age. Actually, let's be honest about it, mainly because of my age. And plus, you don't have to interact with people you don't want to. You know, you can say hi and just keep right on moving. You can interact with whoever you want. That's the nice thing about.
I think it's going to be difficult, though. Honestly, I think it'll be difficult to make it anywhere in the Philippines without seeing a couple of expats. They're absolutely everywhere. I mean, you would think that 25% of the population of Cebu is made up of expats.
Really?
And in Pangasinan, I didn't see many expats. I saw a few when we were up there, but I saw more expats palaces that they built up there. They built monuments to themselves, which is something I can.
That large.
Yeah, I understand. You know, I understand a little bit. You know that okay, you weren't able to live the dream, the life the way that you wanted to live it in the States, but man, they come over and they build these mansions, you know, and I just shake my head. I said, I would ask, who lives in there? Oh, it's an Australian guy. Really? Yeah, but he's not there. He only comes 2 months out of the year, lives in the house. But he has a
Montana.
You know, he'll be back though someday to retire. So they're gearing up for retirement. They're building their forever homes. But gosh, they're such man. I got to tell you the truth. I'm a little embarrassed at the size of our house in Bye City. When I saw it the first time, I was like, dang, I say build a small, comfortable house, and they end up building a 1,500, 1,700 square foot Western style home. It really surprised me, but then, you know, that lasted about 2 seconds until I got inside and I said, wow, this is really nice.
Now, Tobias, when I was in a Longo pole, you toss coins over into that river, and if the kids couldn't catch it, they'd dive in after it back in the 70s. And yeah, we called it the same thing back in the 70s. Tobias said when he was in a Longo pole, the river you would cross to go into town from the base was called Shit River. That's what we called it. And Tim just said they still call it that. And like I said,
Jerry is saying he never saw Americans in. Oh my gosh, you might not see many Americans, but you'll see foreigners all over the place. So I mean that might be true. Americans, they're. You would think that we'd be the number one tourists around the world, but we're not. We're not.
No,
Mostly Europeans. And right now there's a Russian invasion going on oh God, I can't believe I said that. I so do apologize, Larry. I meant to say that
that's all right.
there's a Russian migration
influence.
going on.
Influx.
Yeah.
Russian
Well,
influx.
yeah, there's an influx of, how shall I, how shall I say this? All the
Draft
the
our-
Russians were running out of Russia.
well, pretty much.
Now, Dan,
This
isn't that
this
true
was
also
happening.
Dan, isn't it true that there's a lot of Koreans that visit the Philippines?
Well, there was. I mean, honestly, when you're
South
talking,
Koreans,
yeah.
not North Koreans.
They went through a period of time where they were coming down here and opening up businesses all the place. But a lot of Koreans came here and they spent tons and tons of money opening businesses. And guess what happened? 2020 happened, the calamity, the global calamity. And these guys, a lot of them went broke. And they went back home with their tail between their legs. For example,
Dan, a lot of people went broke here too. If you had a restaurant, here's the problem.
Absolutely.
If you had a restaurant and they made you close for 90 days, your landlord didn't care. And in the next 90 days when you got to open up, you had no business. So for 6 months or better, you couldn't afford to pay rent. Well, when the end of your lease came like a year and a half, 2 years later, the landlord said, well, I'll sign you into your new lease, but you owe me 50 grand.
Yeah.
And everybody said, I can't do that. And they all went bankrupt.
Yeah. Well, here they just, it's easy just to get on a plane and leave your problems behind. And so that's what a lot of people did. Where it was the most obvious? The most obvious was Watkins Street. I'm not saying that in Angelo City. I'm not saying that the Koreans didn't buy everything up. They did. But they're also doing something else. They learned from coming in and initially advertising, hey, we're a new Korean bar and blah, 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 blah. They toned all that stuff down. And so even though you might have a Korean owner of a bar, it's not as ethnocentric as it was when they first went in there, I would say 2018 or 2017, buying everything up, kicking the Americans who had dominated Walking Street for years. Basically they offered them, they came to those clubs with suitcases full of money, and that's how they did it. And as you guys know, the famous Margarita Station has been sold to a Korean partnership deal, and they're moving. They're building a new restaurant. The money was so good. Like I said, they don't play.
I learned where they got them suitcases full of money.
Well, who knows?
I know a guy in the sneaker business.
They're just great business people, I guess.
I knew a guy that was in the sneaker business. And all them Nike sneakers and expensive sneakers sell for less in Korea. And he was Korean. So he used to fly people in with 200 pair of shoes all the time. That's all their luggage was sneakers. And this Korean conglomerate had all these stores selling these knockoff Nikes, which were Nikes that weren't supposed to be sold in America.
Yeah.
So thousands of pairs of shoes come in every week. They used to have to make knockoff boxes to put the sneakers in.
Oh, knockoff boxes. I've done that before. That's fun.
Crazy. You got nothing to say today?
I haven't had time to say anything.
Yeah. We've been kind of taking up the airspace.
I'm sorry. Shut that fan down.
Yeah.
It's Dan, Larry, everybody.
Hi, Junior.
Yeah,
Eddie, how you doing? Eddie. He's not looking.
nah,
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, man,
Hey,
Minnie.
Minnie.
fill that fan.
Hello.
Thanks.
Yeah, just like I said, that Tobias said he was there in Longapole in '77. I was there in '74, in Olongapo. That's what, as a matter of fact, I turned 21 in '74 in Olongapo. And you want to talk about birthday not meaning anything? Turning 21 in the Philippines didn't mean a bloody thing because you could drink it. Younger than that, they in San Diego, California at that time, if I'd have turned 21, every bar I would have walked in would have gave me a free drink. Now, in Olongapo, they didn't care. You bought your own drink. So what I did to celebrate my 21st birthday, I went horseback riding with some friends. On base, the Navy base, we had trails that you could ride horses. I mean, you rent a horse and go out on the trails and ride. There was like 4 of us. We went riding. And then I went and had a T-bone steak dinner. Then I went out like every night and started drinking. You know, that was what I did different for my 21st birthday. Because, like I said, every night was drinking back then, you know.
Good, the
Like
good old.
Bonanza.
That's my
I
life
worked at
now.
Bonanza.
That's my
Steakhouse.
life now. We were out last night, man. Minnie and I. We went down to the bar. Hey, you know, have you guys have any of you ever been into Philly Sports Bar in Cebu, in Mango Square, man? I'm telling you, nice
What?
people, but man. That 29 peso scam, it just bugs me. It bugs the hell out of me.
29 peso scam.
You know, where you
Yeah,
go in
they-
there,
they-
buy
they-
the first beer, buy the first beer, pay regular price, and get 29. Get the second one for 29 pesos. And so then so the first time we go in there, I go, okay, do you have any special rules? What are the special rules to get the 29 peso beer? And they
I
go, well,
remember
no, there are no rules, right? They said. Do you remember me telling this story before, Larry, about how
Yeah.
when the gal comes to refill, we're ready for our 29. Oh, well, you would have to buy the special bar beer, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. So I was laughing at this. I said, oh, I see how this thing works. I was talking to the gal. I said, you guys are trying to get men off the street to come in here. They buy the ladies' drink. And then once they pony up the money for the ladies' drink, then you let them have the 29 peso beer. And she goes, yes, you figured out how it works. I go, oh, I see, right? So now, so at that point, Mammy and I got up and I said, we're never coming back to this joint. You guys are better than that. I remember Phillies from the olden days. You guys are better than that. You don't need to resort to this kind of nonsense in order to grab 1 or 2 expats walking down the street in here with telling them lies, right? So Mammy and I, we go across the street to the discount broker, to the discount bar. And we're sitting there and they have a good old time, a bunch of expats from all over the world. We're having a good old time drinking cheap beers in there. And it's the same beer I would have been drinking across the street without the entertainment, you know? And and so they've seen me a couple of times now. You know, I will always stop by Phillies and wave as I'm passing by. So last night they grabbed us and said, why don't you guys come in here anymore? Because we never seem to be able to earn the 29 peso beer. And then with that, I didn't even say anything else. They were trying to say something to me. And I turned around. We walked across the street. If you guys need us, I said, we'll be hanging out over there. You know, where I'd rather pay the regular price on the beers and just pass on your big 29 peso celebration. And so they were like, sir, trying to get us to come on, the place is empty, you know. So we ended up across the street and we made plenty of friends in that little, I guess you'd call it a little neighborhood bar, which are the best kind to be in my opinion, where you get to meet everybody from all over the world that don't want to pay full price.
When I was in the Philippines drinking San Miguel painted label, I only paid 1 peso 50 centavos to 2 pesos a beer. Now back then though, that was probably almost as much as a 29 peso, not quite. That was like 10 to 15 cents.
You're talking about the big bottle, right?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right. One, yeah.
A bottle
A 40
about
ounce.
like this.
Ah,
Yeah, about 16 to 20 ounces. Yeah, somewhere around that. About 16 ounce. like you got to remember, this was in '74.
Probably
We
a
got
half.
we got 9 to 10 pesos to a dollar back then, and of course, a dollar bought a lot more in the states than it does, today too. But,
Yeah, Tim's cracking me up. The 29 peso beer is out of stock, sir.
yeah. But when you pay the 2 pesos, you usually have a live band playing, and they were good. I mean, it depends on what kind of music you want, but they had. I mean, they had country western, they had rock.
Yeah, Tobias is saying something I didn't know. He's saying that an American owns the place now. Well, maybe it won't last long.
Maybe the Koreans will buy it up and go bankrupt.
Yes, maybe we'll get lucky. Yeah, because that is the American way, right, crazy kid? That is the American way. Bleed it for all the money you can get, and then declare bankruptcy and get out of Dodge really fast.
In my neighborhood, they have both kinds of music.
Country
got-
and
You know
They got
the funny part
country
about
and
that
West.
is, Dan? You know what the funniest part about your statement is? I'm Canadian.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know exactly how. It is funny, and I'll tell you what, I don't know how things work in Canada. I'm just totally ignorant. I go over to Canada, and especially that Montreal area, people just kind of look at me and like, how do they know immediately that I'm not one of them? I just don't get it.
Jerry says
It's a certain look that that we can spot Americans from a mile away.
Yeah, and
It's
they
almost
do.
like you
every
guys got
time.
an aura around you.
Yeah, it's a brown aura, right?
Not
it's
so
black.
much brown, just you got
Black.
this like
very dark aura.
blurry outline.
And there's a certain odor that accompanies us.
No, you just got this blurry outline around you.
A blurry outline. That
American.
was good. A very blurry outline. That was hella funny.
Now, Jerry says he was born in '74, a very long time ago. Jerry, I turned 21 in '74. You're a young man. I don't want to hear about you being old.
I think I was 18 or 17 in
I'm
'74.
3 years older than Jerry.
Holy smokes. Yeah. Well, Jerry, if you're a youngster, if you're that young, what the hell are you doing over there, man? You need to get your laurels over here and get settled into the Philippines. Enjoy the Philippine lifestyle.
Like I'll be
You know,
52 in 2 weeks.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy
I
early
can't do it,
birthday.
Dan. I'm going to
I'll
have
be
to come
70
for a
in
month and go home.
Yeah, Tobias, we were here when Sunshine was putting on that meet and greet. We were just a block down the street when he was here, and I still wouldn't go. I still would not go. Oh, he's having it at Phillies. F him. I'm not going. I'm not going.
Hey, Ben, how you doing?
I'm not starstruck. I don't care who's there. I'm not going.
Yeah. But you know one of the ways that we can tell you Americans apart when you're here in Canada? You guys
I don't
stagger
know.
after 3 beers.
What kind of beers?
Any kind.
You know what? He's
Our beer is
absolutely
stronger than
right.
yours.
He's absolutely right. And I could tell you a story about how I get scooped up. Hey, American! I get yelled at from across the street. Hey, American! Come on over here and drink with us. Who's going to buy the American a drink? And I knew already I was being set up. And you can imagine they were having some bet going on. They were soccer players, right? They were footballers, and they were like already laughing. And I was like, I'm going to be a good sport, and I'm going to go throw back pints with these guys. I already knew I wasn't going to make it past the first pint of beer. And so sure enough, I down that first pint, and then I hear some words like, "Oh, the American, he's doing pretty good keeping up with us." And those were the last words I remember. Yeah, they were the last words I remember. And the next, I'm waking up in the back seat of somebody's car who I do not recognize, and I'm looking up, and
Was you wearing a badge?
yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm looking up at a Canadian mounted police officer who has this long stick. He's tapping. He doesn't even dismount for this.
Nope.
He just taps on the window, and I'm looking up and going, "What the hell world am I living in?"
He just
And
wants to
I-
make sure you're alive.
Yeah, the only time I've ever seen a Canadian on a horse in uniform like that was in a Dudley Do-Right cartoon. And so I undo the window and I'm looking up, and he just peers at me. He says, "Oh, never mind. I know the whole story. See you later." And he just rides away, and that was it. That was
Back to sleep.
go back to sleep. You know. And I got out of there. I was like, "What the hell just happened?" I waited for him to ride off into the sunset, and I got out of there, and I had to look around, and I see the bar across the street, and I know where I'm at, so I make my way back to the hotel, and I was like, "Oh, I'm never doing this again." You know?
Yeah, chances are that Mountie followed you home just to make sure
Oh.
you got home safe.
Oh, he probably did. You know, that's how they roll in Canada.
Yep. But I was in Michigan one time with some buddies of mine when I was like 22, and we were at this bar. They were having dollar beer night. This is going back 30 years ago. They had dollar beer night and Canadian money at par, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm going." I got $500 in my pocket. I went. Me and a few buddies of mine got ourselves a designated driver. We get out there, and we're sitting at the bar. We're just freaking hammering these things down. And the bartender, after about the 10th one, he comes up to me, he goes, "I can tell you guys are Canadian, not just by the money that you guys are giving me, but by how much you guys are drinking. You guys can drink anybody in this bar under the table."
Oh yeah, you can tell. You can tell. I don't know how they. I guess what are you raised since 5 years old? I mean, I don't see how you guys can do it. I just don't get it.
Our beer is a hell of a lot stronger than the United States.
No kidding, brother. No kidding.
Well, wait a minute. I got homage to that.
It's like drinking soda pop, for crying out loud.
Canadian beer is not necessarily stronger than the beer in the United States, but if you're drinking Miller and Budweiser, it is. Because I drink Eastern European beer in the United States.
You are making me laugh.
So, well, Canadian beer is like 5.7 beer and stuff like that. I used to have beer through 9% alcohol.
Cool. In the United States, first of all, they don't drink Budweiser anymore.
Not anymore, no.
But
Well,
I'm
they
laughing
might drink
because, because I was a Miller beer fan, you see, because Miller employed a lot of my friends at the brewery up there in Irwindale, California, just up there on Irwindale Avenue. So Miller was
Miller owns a lot of Canadian beer these days because it's Coors, Miller, Molson all under the same roof.
Yeah.
Budweiser is no longer American beer.
Listen, I like Molson.
They're Brazilian. They're InBev.
Yeah, but you see, I was
Molson
talking
was-
about the beer that's the same in the United States and Canada. Our beer is a hell of a lot stronger than yours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your beer, most of it's 5.7 beer.
Yeah.
Or American beer is 3.4.
Or 3-2.
Or 3 or 2-4. And
Like-
we sat there and we were drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. All of a sudden, I had to go to the bathroom. I asked the bartender where the bathroom was. So he gives me the directions. I'm walking along, and all of a sudden, I look
Hey,
over.
JG.
I'm like, holy shit, that's Metallica over there. I was like, hey, you guys are Metallica. And James Hetfield looks at me and goes, you're right. I was like, you guys going to be here for a little while? So I just got to go to the can. I'll be right back. If you don't mind if I sit down and have a conversation with you guys. And they're like, sure. So I went and did my business, cleaned my hands and everything like that. By the time I sat down, the waitress was coming by to take the order. I just took a 20 out of my pocket and I put it on her freaking, on her tray. Wind this up. So she brings over a bunch of, this bunch of beer for us, and I give her a $5 tip, and off she take. And so we're sitting there just drinking these beers and having some fun, just telling jokes and stuff like that. And then I get back to where my buddies are at, and I go right back into hammering them, right? So we get back to the border when the bar closed. Like the bar closed at like 2:00 in the morning or something like that. And so we get back to the border. It was about 3:30, 4 o'clock or something. And the border guard says to my buddy that was driving, he goes, "You guys got anything to declare?" And I was sitting in the passenger seat. And I was like, "Whoa, just a second." I opened up the door and I just barfed right there on the freaking border. I closed the door and went, "Not anymore."
Oh, geez. You'd end up in jail for doing that these days. JG is in the house. JGBK. You'd
Well,
end up in prison,
even
man.
All
Metallica.
he did was laugh and say, "Get this drunk
You know,
asshole out of here."
you know how hard it is right now for an American to get over the Canadian border. They practically take you in a little room and strip search you.
Yeah,
Hey
and
now,
Right.
Dan, you
car
would
park.
enjoy that, and you know it.
If you know Metallica, you ever hear of Accept?
No, I only
Uh,
met them once, and it was like 30 years ago.
my
And
friend, my
I just
friend,
sat there and and joked around with them for a bit. I didn't really get to know them personally.
my friend Peter's a heavy metal legend. He's the guy who invented speed metal. German rock star from a group called Accept. He used to open for Ozzy for like 15 years. Real famous. But you know,
I was never into heavy metal. Sorry.
yeah. Well, rock stars are fun to hang out with, and all them people
Some
from
are.
the biz.
Some are.
Yeah,
Some
well, that's
are like, "Be gone from me." That's just my stage name.
well. You know what's funny is they don't want you to like. They don't want you. If you want to be their friend, don't act like they're a star. That's all I can tell you.
No.
They're just your brother you're hanging out with.
Yeah, that's it. You know,
'Cause
like they'll
I hung
appreciate
out with
that a lot more because it won't
exactly.
put them on edge.
Well, you're not chasing them around like some
Yeah.
stupid fan.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Tobias. If they tore it apart, they should put it back together themselves.
Oh, Tobias. Ha! Tobias is saying that those dudes at the border tore his car apart and made him put it back together. That's how they roll. That happened way back when I was crossing. I had a rental car. Don't rent a car and go into Canada. It's a stupid thing to do. But I was coming. Yeah, it's a real stupid thing to do. And I was a young, stupid kid at the time. So there
It is, Barry. It's going well.
Hey,
Yeah, but
you should
we
have
came
tried.
across-
You should have tried
Yeah.
crossing the way I used to look. I used to have hair that I could tie in a ponytail and tuck into my belt. I had a skeleton earring
Wow.
sitting cross-legged on my shoulder, smoking a cigarette. I had a '78 Monte Carlo. It was 3 different colors with wide-ass tires on, about a foot and a half, almost a foot and a half wide on the back, and about a foot on the front. Had it jacked up, looking like a stock car. 2 sunroofs coming out the top, and I was crossing the border with that.
That's so much fun. The good old days.
You tell me if that doesn't scream drug dealer.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you what makes them nuts today. If you're out on Lake Erie here on the other side of Pennsylvania and you just happen to like wander into Canadian waters,
Hey, Abby, how you doing?
they don't care if you're 100 feet over. They're taking you in.
Abby.
The
Yeah,
Canadians.
Well,
you're taking
I
your ass
crossed
down.
over. I crossed over Vermont. Well, the story goes like this. So I land. I was doing a couple of trips, and then I realized that I was, that it's obvious why they were following me because I'd gone from Sacramento to go see my mom in L.A. I spent a day there,
LV,
and then I was headed. Then I was headed LV. Then I was headed for Boston. So I go Sacramento on the drug pipeline. I go to LA, and then I go to Boston. All right. I come out of Boston, and I think they were building the new exit at the time, the new bridge and the whole traffic improvement thing out of Logan. And
Right.
I come out of Boston. I get about, I don't know. I get it. Maybe I'm a couple of miles out of Boston. I start realizing that I'm being followed by State Patrol. So I rented the car in Boston. I was heading north, and my plan was to stop in St. Albans, Vermont, and then I was gonna cross into Canada at the nearest border crossing, and my destination was going to be Montreal. So as I'm coming across, right, I realized that they're handing me off all the way from Boston, all the way north to St. Albans. They're following me, right? The State Patrol, they just keep handing me off as I pass through. And I go, man, I'm going to get tore up at the border, and should I be crossing or not? And I figured that it would be more provocative of a move to turn around and not continue on my journey than it would be to continue on. So I hit that border, and as soon as I did, man, there I go. They grab me, scoop me up, put me in the little room, tear my car apart, And but they put most of it back together. I mean, a rental car. I mean, how do I explain this to the rental car company, for crying out loud? They put most of it back together, and then I had to do the little detail stuff. And so I was held up at the border for a good 2.5 hours. But that guy, the guy that did the tearing up of the car, was on the U.S. side, and he was a customs guy. And so a week later, I was spending a week up in Montreal having a good time. And then when I was making my return trip through the border, no problem crossing, but I got into St. Albans and I saw him and his kid at the theater. You know, I was scooping up my kids. We were going to the theater, and I could just feel my face turning, just, you know, like anger was just overtaking me. Like, oh, this guy, man, I'm gonna thump him, right? So he makes eye contact with me. You know, he makes eye contact with me, and then he looks down at his little kid. You know, and he kind of looks at me like, "Hey, I have my kid with me today. You know, come on, I have my kid with me today." And
So
I looked around, like,
ripped his car apart.
yeah, and so I looked around and go, well, I got my kids with me today too, you know, so what can I do? You know, I'm stuck. And so I felt myself calming down, and then we all went into the theater to watch the movie together, and all was right in the world. But I was really irritated by this dude. He enjoyed his job a little bit too much. I would say he enjoyed his job a lot more than we enjoy ours. So that's my story. So I know they do it. I was there. I had it happen to me.
Yeah. I had a border guard tear apart my trunk, and I always had like a lot of tools in my trunk in case I came across anybody that, you know, on the side of the road. They need help. Freaking, I got the tools to help them out, right? So this border guard, he opens up my toolbox, and all of a sudden he's asking me what every single tool is, and I'm like, well, that's a 9/16 box end wrench. That's a 5/8 box end wrench. You can see that right on the handle. I had to freaking explain everything to this guy. You know what kind of
Yep, they'll do that. They want to know if you're legit or not. You know,
yeah.
is this Mr. Mechanic, or is this the guy trying to
That's why I
throw me
don't
out?
Don't take tools with me.
Yeah,
I'm not a mechanic.
he's smuggling tools into the U.S.
Well, the thing was, they were all dirty. He got his hands all dirty.
They love their job. Some of these border guards.
This guy was like, he had to have been
You
like,
appreciate it, Elvie.
getting real close to retirement, eh? And just, oh well, you know, he was cool about it, but you know, he wanted to take a look at everything that was in my trunk, and I was like, yeah, okay, no problem, bud. Here you go, knock yourself out. I ain't got nothing to hide.
A lot of
Where's
these
Jerry?
guys are the kids we picked on in school.
Is Jerry leaving us?
I think so.
Oh, all right. Be that way, Jerry.
Bedtime. It's getting close to his bedtime.
Yeah. He needs his beauty rest.
Yeah.
Well, people needed beauty rest. I should have been asleep an hour ago.
I should have never got up. We're talking about beauty rest.
Yeah.
I should just stay in bed.
Yeah. And I remember this one time, like I watched this one YouTuber. His name is Tyler Bucket. He's got a great channel. He does he learns about different things in Canada, and he's kind of interesting. And he kind of made me realize and remember this when I was down in Florida with my buddy. We were at this water park, and it's obvious that there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of Americans that know nothing about Canada.
Oh, they don't teach anything about.
All they know is we say a lot.
All I know is you guys are smoking out my neighborhood for the last month.
What?
Oh, damn. Had to bring that up.
My whole neighborhood's filled with Canadian smoke.
He's talking about the forest fires.
Oh, That happens every year.
Just like California. Just like California.
Yeah.
That's Smokey the Bear smoking too much pot and just not putting it out properly. But so we're down at this water park, and apparently we dropped the A-bomb a few times. And
Oh.
all of a sudden, this couple come out of nowhere, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you guys Canadian?" I'm like, "Yeah, how'd you guess?" And they're like, "Well, you said A a few times." And I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry if we offended you. We didn't mean to offend you."
We offended you.
Yeah. So
I mean, Jerry's having the beauty rest. He goes to bed early.
yeah. So we're sitting there, and they're like, "Do you know Jeff from Canada?" Like, there's 43 million people in Canada. Obviously, our names are going to double up a few times.
You think?
Yeah, no doubt, eh? But like, I never said that to him. I just look back at him, and my buddy, he's starting to shake his head like he knows where I'm going with this. I'm like, Jeff, you know Jeff? How do you guys know Jeff? And all of a sudden, the wife pipes up, and she's like, "Oh my God, Jeff and Beth! Oh, they were such a wonderful couple. We met them last year in Las Vegas. We were at the Treasure Island. We had dinner with them. Oh, they're such a nice couple." And I looked at him and went, "Wait a minute. Jeff's out gallivanting all over the fucking world, and he owes me $100? What an asshole!" The look on their face just completely switched.
Yeah, next time you see him, tell him I want my $100 back.
Yeah, tell him pony up.
And tell him stop hanging out with his girlfriend. His husband's getting mad.
Hey, don't ever win a whole bunch of money in Vegas when you're with somebody that you owe a whole bunch of money to, because that's what happened to me, right?
You didn't.
Yeah. So I did. I ended up winning a bunch of money, and here it goes, like this.
Hey, but the nice thing about it, Dan, you were out of debt.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I took a girlfriend, or actually, a girlfriend took me to Atlantic City one time because she got a free room for the weekend. So I took my money down and I'm gambling, and I keep winning at blackjack. And everything I could win, she could lose at roulette. Let me tell you.
And mine was the opposite story. I was playing roulette and winning all the money. What ended up happening was that we were at Caesar's Palace. I was sitting there, and I sat down, and a couple of minutes after sitting down at the table, no one was sitting there. I was just playing black or red, or once in a while I would throw money on the green field. And then all of a sudden this guy sits down next to me. And the first thing I noticed is his ring. I wasn't looking at him. I was just looking at his hand. And he's got a big old gold ring that says evil on it. And so I'm looking down there. Now my wife is standing behind me watching things. And I kind of elbow her, and I'm like this. And then finally he looks up, he says, "Yes, ma'am. What he's trying to tell you is I'm the famous Evel Knievel. That's what he's trying to tell you." And so he pulls out a wad of hundreds like this, and he starts betting. I mean, he's throwing money all over the place. So I figured that I didn't know that he was the house celebrity for Caesars at the time.
Oh,
so they just give
he
him
made all this money.
Yeah.
Not doing what you think. He made all this money with the Evel Knievel da on the motorcycle that you wind up and takes off.
Yep.
That was put out by Mattel.
Oh, that's cool. Where's Retro? We got to see if Retro has one of them.
They're worth a lot of money today. Evel Knievel's son just died. Robbie Knievel just passed away.
Did it?
Dang, where's Retro when you need him?
Bobby's got to be close. Had to been close to our age. Dan, I think.
Who? Robbie Knievel?
Oh, Yumi Mango just came in the house. Yumi Mango.
Evil's been going for a long time, and
I said Robbie, not Evil himself.
Yeah, and then Robbie just passed away. He was in his mid 60s.
I got a bolt here, guys.
My age.
I got a bolt here. I got to take off.
Dang! You know what? So do Minnie and I. We got to get going. It was fun hanging out with you guys. Crazy kid. It was fun hanging out with you.
Yes, it's nice talking to you.
And we'll see you guys later.
you
How do
going
I
You
get-
leaving, Dan?
Yeah, Minnie and I. It's 9, and we've been BSing here for about an hour. So see you guys later.
All right, you guys take care. Now,
Wow.
well, it's 4, now we're 2 again.
It's okay.
Uh,
Answer
somebody
your
from
phone.
work calling me.
Answer your phone.
Yeah, Larry.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, I'm just doing a live stream. Why?
Oh, fun times. Any chance you want to make a little OT this morning?
What do you mean?
I got Wilmark staying in shack till about 3 a.m. and then I wanted to see if you wanted to run.
No, not really, buddy.
Okay.
I'm gonna need more sleep. I'm on a live stream right now, and I'm gonna need more sleep than that.
Okay. Any chance that maybe you can go in at like you're running what 7 to 11 tomorrow?
I can do 7 to 11 if you need me to do that tomorrow. Will that help you?
Well, what are you running tomorrow?
I'm working 7 to 3 tomorrow. You want me to stay to 11?
No, I need it earlier. So.
Well, Larry, I can jump off now if it helps.
6 to 11
Huh?
or 6 to 3.
I'll try to make it. I can't guarantee it. I'll try to make it, but I can't guarantee that. I'm staying at a friend's house tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, if you can, you can. If not, we'll figure it out from there.
All right.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Like I said,
You need to go and jump off, Larry. You want to go make the money.
you want to know the
okay.
truth? I hate overtime.
I understand. It's easy on the front end now. Just go in early.
Yeah. The bat phone. Well, see, like I said, I am going over to a friend of mine. I'm going to be watching Fluffy again. If you've seen that
Fluffy.
video. So, just.
Hey, take care
a
of
friend's
it.
house, and I can maybe make it by 6, but there's no way I'm going to make it by 3. I can't even get. If I went to bed right now, I wouldn't go to sleep.
Wow.
I need more. We'd be talking at the most 4 hours because I have to get up at 1:30 to be in there by 3, 1:30.
Sure.
You need a little. I would think you want more advance notice than that. At least I do. Now, if I was at work and you're asking me to stay over, that's not a problem. I can stay over. It's just that getting up early and going in.
Hey, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I've been running all day. Because to do my sales presentation, I get up, I basically like rehearse it in my mind before I go,
Yeah.
So I got all my dance steps in line. And I couldn't hit them with the big close. They weren't ready for it.
Yeah. Well,
But they closed me. I mean, I guess I made a decent profit.
Yeah.
$7,500, and I didn't own it for 2 years. And I only paid $45,400. It'd be different if I paid $75,000.
Oh yeah.
I'm doubling my money basically.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I wish I could double my money.
Actually, I'm more than double.
Yeah.
I'm double almost.
Yeah, you almost quadruple. At least tripled. But
I went from $4,500 or $4,650 total cost to $12,000 out. That's pretty good.
yeah.
And what could I do? I mean, that's what they offered me. I didn't have to fight with them, counter offer. They own the adjoining property, so it's a natural thing that they want mine.
Yeah.
I figured that's a lock,
Yeah. But talking about this overtime. When I go to my friend's house, if I wake up in time, I'll go early. I'm going to have my alarm set to get up on my normal time, but sometimes I wake up a couple hours early. Instead of going back to bed, I'll just go into work. But I can't promise that.
And who's going to jump the place on a Sunday morning?
Well,
gotta
the place is open 24/7.
Sure.
I work at, I don't know if I told you or not, I work at an Amazon warehouse, a distribution center. Yeah. That's where I work at. And
You know, there's a lot of people around me that make a lot of money with Amazon.
yeah.
They go to Amazon auction sales and buy pallets.
All right, Tobias, you have a good night, man. Take care.
They buy pallets of returned merchandise.
All right.
And oh my God, they get it for like pennies on the dollar. They're paying $10 and $20 a pallet, and it's got thousands of dollars worth of stuff on it. Because Amazon got to clear it out, you know? Amazon's amazing.
Oh yeah, like I said, where I work at is the truck entrance for, like I said, the distribution center. So you got trucks coming in, going out. I don't have to go out and check them in. They do this via an intercom and camera. Now, if a truck sits in the driveway too long, I'll have to go out and tell him to move because we can't have them just park on the property.
Sure.
They need to go down to the truck stop, which is just a couple miles away. Also, sometimes people will come in that way thinking that's the way to go in to the warehouse, and it's not. So I have to go out and tell them, no, you can't come in this way. I have to tell them where to go. And that's pretty much, what I do.
I've seen a few of their locations.
Now, yesterday, I'm talking Friday, not Saturday, we had a pretty good thunderstorm. I had to go out and shut the gate so nobody would try to come in. Because if there's lightning, they shut down the yard. That's what they call the truck yard.
All right.
And they shut it down if there's calling for lightning. So I had to go out and shut the gate down so nobody could come in. And then I went out, opened it back up. Then maybe a half an hour or so again, I had to shut it down again. Then I had to go back out and open it back up. But I only had to do it twice yesterday. But that's what I do. I mean,
I've been to two of their locations. I worked in their Robbinsville, New Jersey location.
Yeah.
And I've seen their Middletown, Delaware location.
Well, this one's in, it's called Albany, but it's actually in Schodack, although they're building another one in Schodack as well. But that would actually probably be in Schodack. This is more like Castleton, which is
These
outside.
warehouses are like the size of 10 football fields.
This is huge.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
This place is huge, and I don't know if 10 football fields would be as big as this one. I mean, this place is huge.
This is 10 acres under one roof.
Yeah.
It was so big that if you had to walk from the middle of it to the edge, it would take you 15 minutes.
Like I said, I walk from the front, around the side, and to my post takes me about 15 minutes.
It's ridiculous.
But I don't go the long way. That's the short way. If I went from one end to the other way, it would take me longer than that.
I'd only ever want to be a security guard for them. Working in that warehouse, a nightmare.
And like I said, I'm at the truck gate, so it's a little different.
I used to take inventory for them, and I did it for 2 days and left. For me to go to lunch, I'd have to walk across the building. It took 12 minutes to walk there.
Well,
I had to clock out, walk across for 12 minutes, eat my lunch, and walk back for 12 minutes, and I had a half hour to do everything.
Well, see, now where I work at, they got break rooms all over the place. Now, the main lunch break, yeah, it would take you a while to get there, but they do have other break areas that you can set in.
Well, but we had
But
break
see, now
areas.
with me, where I'm at, I have my own refrigerator, my own microwave, and my
Yeah,
own
we have
drinking
none of
fountain
that.
at where I work. So I don't even have to leave my gatehouse for anything. I have to
They
walk
had
out
a,
of the.
they had a break area and 2 bathrooms, but you couldn't keep your lunch there. You could only have your lunch in the lunchroom. And they had all these refrigerators set up that were
Yeah,
like glass door soda, like, restaurant style.
yeah.
Imagine 30 of them, and you got to put your lunch in there and remember where your lunch was.
So I
Not only
never.
have to walk for 12 minutes, now you got to find your lunch. You got to sit down and eat in 5 minutes and then get back to your station. Or you're late and you're on their computer clock.
Well, like I said, when I worked at the warehouse itself, I did that for a short period of time.
Sure.
My post was right next to the break room,
Or
but
here's another.
I rarely took my meal in because they'd have food there, and I would just buy something there.
Here's another
Although I
one.
did take food in occasionally.
Take a bathroom break when you're on the line.
Yeah,
And they tell you, sure, you can take a break. You go to the bathroom and come back. It goes against your quota that they rate you on every 30 seconds. So if you have 3 or 4 bathroom breaks, which every day you got to go, but think about it, you're there for a week. If you take a bathroom break 3 or 4 times during their shift time and not on your break time, it messed with your quota to the point where they were laying you off.
I wouldn't doubt it because they are. I know that I can't remember what warehouse it was at, but they found in a warehouse pop bottles where the people guys would take the pee break there.
Oh, they'd take it right on the line and hide it around the girders.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And not because they wanted to do that.
No,
They
just
did that
cut down on getting docked.
so they could keep their job. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. It's a
yeah.
slave organization to work from on the inside. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you got it better because you work for an outside
Contract.
security. Yeah.
I'm an outside contractor, but yeah, but no, you still gotta like.
Nowhere to sit down in the whole building.
Oh, the warehouse I'm at, they do have places for them to sit, but like you said, it's for their break.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah. Once you're off your break, there is nowhere you got to be. They want you to work a 10-hour shift, 12-hour in season, and you cannot sit down.
well, that depends on your job. There are jobs that people can sit down at.
Very few.
Yeah, you're right. It's few. The IT jobs,
The book job where you print the books on demand, they let you sit there because the machine, you sit at the machine to operate it.
yeah. But
Other than that, it's a nightmare.
yeah, the IT guys said a lot. They sometimes have to go out, but usually you go to the IT guy, and he'll sit at his desk or get up and do what he's got to do for you. Hey, I think I will shut down early today, guys.
God bless you.
I still got to finish packing, and then, like I said, if I can wake up early, I'll go in early. But I'm not guaranteeing that. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it. Like I said, if he needed me to stay over, no problem. It's going in early. I have a problem with. But I do have
God bless you.
I do have all my medication to take with me, so that's not a problem. But so anyway, I'm gonna have to get going, and because like I said, I still got to pack my stuff up so I can go over to my friend's house and bond with Fluffy for a couple of days. Well, they're out of town, so I'm going to be taking care of Fluffy.
Well, there you go. I'm going to jump off then, Larry. You take care.
All right, take care. All right, everyone needs to be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun. All right, guys, take it easy. I'm sorry it's a short one, but I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye.